Your cat is not being dramatic. They are being precise. Cats are extraordinarily sensitive creatures who notice every little shift in your tone, your timing, your touch, and even your mood. And when something feels off to them, they don't send you a strongly worded letter. They just quietly start pulling away. Most cat parents genuinely love their cats and would never intentionally upset them. But some of the most common everyday habits we barely even think about are doing real emotional damage beneath the surface. This video is going to change the way you see your cat forever. Number 15. Talking to them in a loud, booming voice. Cats have ears that are basically tiny satellite dishes. They can rotate their ears up to 180 degrees, and their hearing range extends far beyond what humans can detect. So, when you raise your voice, even if you're just excitedly telling your cat about your day, which honestly, fair enough, your cat is a great listener. What reaches their ears is something closer to a shout in an empty auditorium. Research into cat auditory sensitivity has consistently shown that sudden loud sounds trigger a stress response in cats. Their heart rate goes up, their pupils dilate, their body goes into a low-level version of fight or flight. And here's the part that stings a little. It doesn't matter that you're not angry. It doesn't matter that your tone is cheerful. The volume alone is enough to make them feel like something threatening just happened. Cats in the wild are tuned to detect the faintest rustle of prey in the grass. That kind of precision hearing doesn't get switched off just because they now live in a cozy apartment and eat from a ceramic bowl. If anything, the confined acoustic environment of a home makes loud noises land even harder. The fix here is surprisingly simple. Cats actually respond beautifully to a soft, slightly higher-pitched voice, what researchers have called cat-directed speech. Studies have found that cats are significantly more responsive and attentive when their owners speak to them in a gentle, lilting tone compared to their regular speaking voice. So, yes, the baby talk thing is backed by science. You're welcome. Number 14. Staring directly into their eyes. Direct, unblinking eye contact feels like connection to us. From the time we're born, humans learn that looking someone in the eyes is a sign of attention, trust, and warmth. But here's the thing, cats did not get that memo. In the feline world, a prolonged direct stare is not a love language. It is a challenge. When two cats face off before a confrontation, they hold eye contact. When a predator locks eyes with prey, they hold eye contact. So when you lean in close and stare into your cat's beautiful little face with pure adoration in your heart, what your cat may actually be registering is something more like, why is this giant creature squaring up to me right now? This doesn't mean your cat thinks you're a predator. They know who you are. But the instinctual reaction to a direct stare is still there, wired in, running quietly in the background like an app you forgot to close. The beautiful workaround is the slow blink. If you soften your gaze, blink slowly, and look slightly away, you're communicating in actual cat language. You're saying, I am relaxed. I trust you. I am not a threat. And if your cat slow blinks back, and many of them will, that is genuinely one of the most intimate things a cat can do. A study published in Scientific Reports in 2020 confirmed that cats respond positively to the slow blink interaction from humans. So next time, blink first. Let them win this one. Number 13, rushing the introduction of new things. Something new arrived in your home and you are excited. Maybe it's a new cat tree, a new toy, a new roommate, a new baby, or even just a new piece of furniture that you rearranged on a Sunday afternoon. And your instinct is to bring your cat over, show them the thing, maybe place them directly on or next to it. Done. Introduced. Moving on. Your cat, however, has a completely different timeline in mind. Cats rely on scent far more than they rely to sight or sound to understand their world. Their environment is essentially a scent map that they have painstakingly built up over time. Every piece of furniture, every corner, every doorway has a scent signature that tells your cat, "This is safe, this belongs here, I have checked this and approved it." When something new enters that map without warning, it creates a gap, an unverified object in a verified space, and that registers as a potential threat until proven otherwise. Forcing your cat to interact with the new thing before they've had a chance to process it doesn't speed up acceptance. It actually slows it down because now the new thing has an additional association, being uncomfortable and pressured. Experts recommend something deceptively simple. Just let the thing exist. Let your cat approach on their own terms, at their own pace. Leave an item of your clothing near the new object so it carries a familiar scent. Give it time. Your cat will come around, probably, unless it's a vacuum cleaner, in which case, no promises. Number 12, picking them up mid-zoomies. Every cat owner has done this, and every cat has hated it. Your cat is pelting through the hallway at a speed that seems physically impossible for something that was asleep 40 seconds ago, and you, charmed, delighted, wanting to be part of the fun, scoop them up mid-run to cuddle the chaos, and instantly the energy drains out of them like a phone being unplugged. What just happened is actually more significant than it looks. The zoomies, officially called frenetic random activity periods, which is a very serious scientific name for something very chaotic, are a natural behavioral release. Cats use these bursts of intense activity to discharge pent-up energy, process stimulation, and act out their hunting instincts in a safe environment. It is, in essence, their version of a sprint workout, and it serves a real psychological purpose. When you interrupt that cycle by picking them up, you're not just startling them. You're cutting short a process their nervous system actually needed to complete. Think about how you'd feel if someone grabbed you mid-run on a treadmill and just held you still. Confusing, frustrating, a little disorienting. That's the experience from their side. The better move is to join the energy rather than stop it. Grab a want toy and redirect the zoomies into interactive play. Let them burn it out naturally, and then, when they come and flop down somewhere dramatically, that's your invitation. That's the cuddle window. Take it. Number 11, ignoring their slow blink. Here is a moment that plays out in millions of homes daily. Your cat is sitting across the room, looking at you, and they slowly close their eyes halfway and then open them again. And you just look back, or check your phone, or keep watching whatever you're watching. And your cat quietly goes back to washing their paw like nothing happened. But something happened. The slow blink is one of the most deliberate, intentional gestures in a cat's communication repertoire. It is not accidental eye moisture. It is not tiredness. It is your cat actively reaching out to you in the most vulnerable way they know how, by dropping their guard, softening their gaze, and signaling peace. It is the feline equivalent of someone reaching out their hand for you to hold. And missing it consistently is the kind of thing that quietly erodes trust over time. Cats are not expressive in the broad theatrical way that dogs are. They don't have the facial muscle range to produce the kinds of expressions we easily read. Their emotional communication is small, refined, and precise. The slow blink is one of the clearest signals they have that says, "I feel safe with you. I like being near you. I choose this." When you slow blink back, you are answering them in kind. You are saying, "I see you. I choose this too." That exchange takes about 3 seconds, and it means more to your cat than probably any toy or treat you've ever given them. Please stop missing it. Number 10, petting against the grain. This one sounds almost too simple to cause real emotional distress, but stay with it. Cats have a significantly higher density of nerve endings in their skin compared to most other domestic animals. What feels like a satisfying stroke to your hand can register as an overwhelming sensory event to them. And petting against the direction of their fur amplifies that experience considerably. Some cats will tolerate it. Some cats will give you exactly 3 seconds of polite endurance before the tail starts lashing. And some cats will just leave. Quietly, without drama, they will simply get up and go be somewhere that isn't here. And the next time you reach for them, they'll be just a little bit harder to convince. What people often misread as a cat being unfriendly or standoffish is actually a cat that has learned through repeated experience that being touched by this particular human sometimes feels bad. They're not being difficult. They're being logical. They tried closeness. It was uncomfortable. They adjusted their behavior accordingly. Honestly, kind of impressive. The key is following their lead in the most literal sense. Follow the direction their fur grows, move slowly, and watch for the small signals that tell you whether they're enjoying this or just waiting for it to stop. A gently swishing tail, skin that twitches, ears rotating backward. These are your cues to shift or stop. The cats who seem to love being petted the most are almost always the cats whose owners learned to actually listen. Number 9. Only interacting when you want to. Cats are often labeled as aloof and independent. And sure, there's some truth in the stereotype. But what gets missed is that cats do actively seek connection on their own schedule. The problem many cat owners create, completely without realizing it, is a relationship that only runs in one direction. You want a cuddle, you go find the cat. You want to play, you get the toy out. You want them to sit with you while you work, you put them on the desk. And when they come to you on their own terms, padding into the room, sitting near you, rubbing against your leg, you're distracted, busy, or just not in the mood. Over time, a cat in this kind of relationship starts to feel like the dynamic is lopsided. Their attempts to connect get ignored, but they are expected to be available and receptive when you decide it's cat time. Cats track these patterns. They are far more emotionally intelligent than the lazy cat stereotype suggests, and they notice when their signals consistently go unanswered. A study from Oregon State University found that most cats prefer social interaction with humans over food, toys, and even scent. That's remarkable. They genuinely want to spend time with you. The shift you need to make is small but meaningful. When your cat comes to you, try to meet them in that moment. Put the phone down for 60 seconds. Make eye contact. Let them set the terms. That responsiveness is what builds the kind of bond that makes your cat seek you out more, not less. Number 8. Laughing at their mistakes. Okay, look. When your cat misjudges a jump and slides off the counter in slow motion, it is objectively funny. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. The internet was practically built on that content. But here's what's actually happening on your cat's side of that moment, and it's worth knowing. Cats are deeply invested in their physical competence. In the wild, precision and agility are not just impressive party tricks. They are survival tools. A cat that can't judge a jump correctly is a cat that misses prey, a cat that gets injured, a cat that gets caught. So when your cat fumbles something and you react with laughter, especially loud laughter, they pick up on that reaction, and it registers as social discomfort. They don't understand why the noise happened. They don't understand that it's benign. What they do understand is that they did something, you made a loud, startling sound in response, and now the environment feels slightly off. Some cats will groom themselves immediately after a fumble, a behavior called displacement grooming, which is essentially their way of self-soothing after a moment of embarrassment. Yes, cats get embarrassed. They've been getting embarrassed long before YouTube existed. The kindest thing you can do after your cat has a clumsy moment is just act normal. Don't make a big deal of it. Let them collect their dignity in peace. They'll appreciate it even if they'll never tell you so. Number 7, moving their favorite things without warning That ratty, beaten-up cat bed that your cat has slept in since 2019 that you keep threatening to replace? Your cat is not attached to it because they have poor taste. They are attached to it because it is completely saturated with their scent. It exists in a specific location they have claimed, and it represents a fixed point of safety in their environment. When you move it, even to a better spot, even to wash it, even temporarily, you are removing a sensory anchor that your cat actively relies on to feel secure. Cats build their sense of safety around familiarity. Their environment is not just a backdrop to their life. It is an active source of comfort and orientation. The position of things, the scent of things, the predictability of things, all of it matters. This applies to more than just beds. Food bowls moved to a new corner, the couch rearranged, a chair removed from a room. Changes that seem cosmetically minor to you can feel genuinely disorienting to a cat, particularly cats with any history of anxiety. You might notice more hiding, more vocalization, more reluctance to settle. These are not random behaviors. They are your cat telling you that something in their map has shifted and they don't feel solid yet. If you need to move something, try placing an unwashed item of your clothing near the new location. Bring the old bed or blanket along rather than replacing it immediately. Give them time to rescent and reclaim the space. And maybe hold off on the full furniture rearrangement until your cat has put in a formal approval request. They will not, but give them time anyway. Number 6, skipping the goodbye. Ritual. Most cat owners are surprised to learn that cats are aware of their owners leaving. They track your patterns with an almost unsettling level of precision. The sound of keys, the putting on of shoes, the particular way you move through the house when you're about to go somewhere. Cats learn these cues and they respond to them. The mistake many owners make is treating departure as a non-event. You get your stuff, you head out, the door closes, and your cat is left in a home that just shifted in a way they feel but can't fully explain. Research out of Oregon State University established that cats display attachment behaviors consistent with those seen in children and dogs, including signs of distress when their person leaves. Now, this doesn't mean you need to deliver a tearful farewell monologue every morning, but a small, consistent acknowledgement, saying your cat's name softly, a brief, gentle touch, even just making eye contact before you go, gives your cat a signal that the departure is intentional and expected, not a disappearance. It closes the loop on a pattern they were already tracking. Cats who receive this small ritual tend to settle faster after their owner leaves. It is not magic. It is just communication, telling your cat, in a language that lands for them, I am going, this is normal, I'll be back. That's enough. That's actually a lot. Number 5, forcing eye contact during conflict. When a cat does something you don't want them to do and you go to correct them, the instinct for many people is to get close, get at their level, and look them in the eyes to make the point land. It feels direct. It feels clear. In human terms, it reads as serious and intentional. In cat terms, it reads as a confrontation from a much larger creature who is suddenly in their personal space, staring them down and blocking their exit. Everything about that combination is threatening from a feline perspective, and a cat that feels cornered doesn't learn a lesson. They experience a fear response: fight, freeze, or flee. That's the only vocabulary available to them in that moment. What's worse is that this can damage the specific association your cat has with your face and your proximity. You want your cat to see your face as a source of comfort and safety. Repeatedly associating it with conflict, pressure, and confinement starts to chip away at that. Behavioral experts consistently recommend the opposite approach. Stay calm, keep your voice low, redirect rather than confront, and absolutely do not back a cat into a corner to make a point they biologically cannot receive the way you intend. The correction that actually works is the one delivered without threat. Walk away, redirect to the desired behavior, and let the tension dissipate. Your cat will learn far more from a calm environment than from a stare down they couldn't win anyway. Number 4, changing their routine without warning. Cats are creatures of rhythm in a way that most people significantly underestimate. Feeding time, playtime, the time you wake up, the time you go to bed, the sounds of the house at different hours. Your cat knows all of it. They don't just tolerate routine. They organize their emotional life around it. When that rhythm breaks without warning, you're suddenly feeding them 2 hours later. You've started working from home, you've changed your sleep schedule, someone new is staying at the house. Your cat doesn't just adapt and move on the way we might hope. Their stress hormones go up. Their behavior can shift. They might start over-grooming or stop grooming or vocalize more or go quiet or change their eating patterns. These are not arbitrary quirks. These are a sensitive creature communicating that something in the environment has become unpredictable. And predictability is central to a cat's sense of safety. Back in 1988, researchers studying stress responses in domestic cats found that environmental unpredictability was one of the strongest consistent triggers for stress-related behavior changes. Nearly 4 decades later, that finding holds up. You can't always avoid disruption. Life changes, things shift. But you can soften the impact. Maintain what you can. Keep feeding times consistent, even if other things are changing. Spend a little extra time with low-key interaction during transitional periods. Let your cat see that even if some things are different, you're still you, you're still there, and the important things are still reliable. That reassurance matters more than you'd expect. Number 3, using their name only for negatives. Think about how you use your cat's name throughout the day. Really think about it. Is it most often calling them for feeding? Or is it more commonly, no Mochi? Or Mochi, get down? Or Mochi, stop that? Or Mochi, when you find the thing they knocked off the shelf. If your cat's name is appearing almost exclusively in moments of correction, redirection, or frustration, you are accidentally training them to associate their own name with something unpleasant. Cats are fully capable of learning their names. A study published in Scientific Reports in 2019 confirmed that domestic cats can distinguish their own name from similar-sounding words, even when spoken by strangers. But what that study also implies is that the meaning a cat attaches to that name is built through repetition and association. If the repetition is mostly negative, the association follows. Your cat starts to hear their name and brace slightly. Their ears may flatten for just a moment. They might hesitate before coming to you, not because they're ignoring you, but because the word that's supposed to mean them has started carrying a little tension in it. The solution is almost embarrassingly easy. Stop using their name in neutral and positive moments far more often. Say their name softly when you're just sitting near them. Say it before you give them food. Say it when they do something you like. Let it become a word that mostly means you warmly. Let it be a word they turn toward with ease instead of one they brace for. It costs you nothing, and it changes everything about how your cat hears the most important word in their world, their own name. Number 2, misreading a purr as always meaning happy. The purr is one of the most comforting sounds a cat can make, and most people take it as automatic proof that everything is fine, the cat is content, life is good. And often that's true. But the purr is a more complicated instrument than it looks, and misreading it consistently means you might be missing some important signals from your cat. Cats purr in a range of emotional states, not just happiness. They purr when they're content, yes, but they also purr when they're anxious. They purr when they're in pain. They purr when they're stressed. Researchers believe the purr may have evolved partly as a self-soothing mechanism, similar to the way humans might hum or rock slightly when they're uncomfortable. The vibration frequency of a cat's purr, between 25 and 150 Hz, has been shown to have pain-relieving and tissue-healing properties, which means your cat might literally be purring to manage discomfort. The difference between a contented purr and a stressed purr is usually in the broader context. A happy purring cat is relaxed in body, soft in posture, slow in movement. The rest of them matches the sound. A stressed or painful purring cat may have a tense body, flattened ears, a slightly hunched posture, or eyes that are a little too wide. The purr sounds similar. Everything else tells the real story. Pay attention to the whole cat, not just the sound. If your cat is purring, but something else feels off, they're not eating right, they're hiding more, their posture seems different. Don't dismiss it because they're purring. Take the whole picture seriously. Your cat might be telling you, in the only way they know how, that something is wrong. Number 1. Not noticing the small withdrawals. Here is the biggest mistake, and it is the quietest one. Cats do not typically make a scene when something is wrong emotionally. They don't sulk loudly. They don't demand an explanation. What they do is withdraw, slowly, incrementally, in ways so small that it's easy to miss until the pattern has been going on for a while. Maybe your cat used to follow you from room to room, and now they mostly stay in one spot. Maybe they used to sit near you on the couch, and now they prefer the floor. Maybe they still come for feeding time, but don't linger the way they used to. Maybe they used to greet you at the door, and now they don't quite make it that far. Each of these changes, on their own, might seem like nothing. Together, they are your cat, quietly pulling back from the relationship. This is the compounding effect of all the things on this list and more. The ignored slow blinks, the name used only in frustration, the routines broken, the cuddles forced, the signals missed. Cats don't give up on their people all at once. They retreat in small steps, which means you have the opportunity at almost every stage to notice and turn it around. The most important skill you can develop as a cat owner is attentiveness to your individual cat's baseline. What is normal for them specifically? How much do they usually seek you out? How often do they vocalize? Where do they usually sleep? How do they move through the house? When you know your cat's baseline with that kind of detail, you notice the withdrawals early. And noticing early means you can respond early. More play, more gentle interaction, more slow blinks, more of your name said softly in a room they happen to be in. Cats are not difficult to love well. They just need you to pay attention in the right direction. They have been paying attention to you all along. The truth is, most of these habits come from love. Nobody is leaving their cat in the dark or staring them down or skipping goodbyes because they don't care. They do it because they didn't know, and now you know. The beautiful thing about cats is that they are remarkably forgiving when the relationship shifts in the right direction. Start with one thing from this list. One slow blink returned. One name said gently for no reason. One goodbye acknowledged. That's how trust gets rebuilt. Not in grand gestures, but in the small, consistent moments that your cat has always been watching for.